Squared One is an abstract game. It's incredible. They still make those these days, although it's getting rarer and rarer. And it is the sequel of a game called Project L that I reviewed when it originally came out, and I reviewed it very positively because I liked it. I mean, why else would I say good things about a game? And so here we have some of the general concepts of that game. Still an action selection game in which you will collect abstract tiles. Those are plastic tiles. Here we have wooden tiles in order to complete certain patterns and in order to score them. And you will try to be as efficient as possible about that. Here we have two lines of cardboard tiles, one with white backs and one with black backs. We shuffle those two decks and we only shuffle some of the black tiles depending on the number of players. We're gonna leave some out. And then from each stack we take 4 tiles out, visible to all players. The basic idea is that we're trying to complete these tiles by placing the corresponding wooden tiles there. So in order to complete this tile here, I need to place a yellow, which also has a single white dot. It's very hard to tell because it's on the other side, but I can't always tell. So the yellow that has 1, and the blue that has 3 squares, and they are in that specific order. There are also 3 square tiles that have them in a different configuration. If I do that, I complete that pattern, I collect the tiles that I use and they come back to my personal supply, and I add the corresponding tile there to my supply. So some of these tiles, when you complete them, it will give you extra tiles, making your supply larger. But then ultimately it is these tiles here that will give you a number of points, and so when I complete those, the tiles that I use, the wooden tiles that I use, again, go back to my supply. Oh, I completed that. The tiles that I use go back to my supply, and this one I flip face down and I place in my personal scoring pile, as opposed to these ones that go in a discard pile. If need be, you can use them to reset the draw pile there. So I'm gonna have my scoring pile, hopefully. Also, there are actions that will allow me to complete several of those in a single action. I can have up to 4 of those tiles. Actually, I have up to 4 tiles in total open in progress in front of me. If I'm able to complete 2 tiles with a single action, I score 1 extra point. If I'm able to complete 3 tiles in a single action, I score 2 extra points. If I'm able to complete all 4 tiles in front of me in a single action, I score 4 extra points, because this is how math works, and I collect the corresponding tokens here. So at the end of the game, which will be determined by the depletion of that black-backed draw pile, at the end of the game, I'll add together the points from my scoring pile, from these tokens that I may have collected, and the highest score wins the game. More in detail, how do we do it? This is an action selection game. Players will alternate taking turns, and each turn you have 3 actions that you can take from a list. There is a very effective player rate here, and you can take these actions in any order. You can repeat the same action multiple times, with the exception of one action. The muster action can be taken only once per turn. Pretty simple. For a single action, I can take any of those tiles there. Simple as that. There you go. 1. That's one of my actions. For an action, I can take a yellow tile, a yellow wooden tile from the supply. And again, these are the most basic tiles, and they count as a single dot. And I take it and add it to my supply. I already spent 2 actions. Hooray. Suppose that I had this in my supply also. For an action, I can also combine multiple tiles into a larger one of the same value as the sum of those. It has to result into a single tile. So if I put a 1 and a 3 together, I'll take a 4. Now I can choose which 4 I want, which 4 I want, but I couldn't, for example, turn a 3 and a 1 into a 2 and a 2. So for an action, again, I can combine it into a larger one. I can also, for an action, take a wooden tile in my supply and split it into smaller one. There you go, I turn a 4 into a 3 and a 1, which is kind of sometimes what you have to do if you want to change a tile of a certain size into a tile of the same size but different shape. Then you break it down and you build it up again. Wasteful, which tells you, the fact that I do it tells you I'm not a very efficient player here. I can also, for an action, place, which is I place the required number of tiles required to complete the topmost line of the topmost empty line of one of my tiles. So for an action, if I have a yellow, a green, and a blue in my supply, I could do that. I completed that line. For an action, I could also do that. However, once per turn only, you can take the muster action, which is you fill up the one top row or the top row of any and all of your cards if you have all the corresponding tiles. So, for example, for a single muster action, I could do that and that, because that's the topmost empty line, and that. Where is it? There you go. And this is basically through the master actions would be how you can complete multiple tiles at the same time. And so, for example, I completed this one now. These go back into my supply. I get that one. Suppose that this is the situation here. Then with a single master action, I can complete this one. This one could be complete with 2 green or an orange, my choice. And this one. And this one, I completed 3 in a single turn with a single action, so I get to score 2 extra points because that's how math works, as I explained earlier. These will go, tiles go in my supply. I collect these 2 tiles. These are discarded. These goes into my supply, and I'll get to score 2 points for that at the end of the game. Then I put back on top of the draw pile all the stuff that I messed up, and that's how the game works. Again, we play until the draw pile of the ones that are assigned for points is exhausted. We finish that round, then you take another one, and at that point the player with the highest score wins the game. Square One is an excellent abstract game, which is, well, abstract games are not usually my favorite, although some games that we play has some theme, they don't have a lot of it. I don't know, they learn a lot about Portuguese style from Azul. Point being, purely abstract games that embrace that element, we don't have so many. And this one is very nice. It's also nice with the components. I like the wooden tiles and the cardboard tiles. They're both very well done, very well constructed, and nice to just manipulate and move around. The tactile element is definitely there. It's beautiful to see these colors around on the table. Now, there are some tiles that the orange 3 wooden tiles, they look closer to the symbol for the slightly darker orange 4 square tiles printed on the boards, meaning there's a slight discrepancy there. Sometimes you think it's a 3, but it's a 4, but I think I may have done it once in this segment. That happens. But the game itself is really cool. It's very nice. Pretty much the same nice things that I have to say about its predecessor, Project L. I can say about this one in terms of gameplay. I don't see any major difference here. Because you have a nice trio of choices and you're trying to optimize and maximize things and pretty much to line things up so that you can do those nice master actions for 2, 3, or 4 cardboard tiles even, which allows you to score points and also, most importantly, saves you actions. And you're going to have a nice, very simple, very elegant, very intuitive architecture in which you're going to start by first trying to complete cardboard tiles that will give you more wooden tiles, and then kind of switch the strategy to using now your substantial supply of wooden tiles in order to complete the tiles that will give you more victory points. Easier said than done, at least for me. But hey, there's something really nice. Now I'm playing this one with my teenage son, and I couldn't win, and that's one of the greatest satisfactions for a gaming parent, I believe, and that was very nice. Then I played it also with other family members, and I think maybe I won once. So I played the game with 2 and 3 players, and I think 3 players is a really nice spot. Because you don't have too much downtime. I think there may be a risk of that if you're playing with 4, but that's completely up to you and to your group. And with 3, you don't have much downtime, and you have a nice interaction there. All indirect, meaning that other people are going to collect components, and then you don't have those. Because it's all indirect interaction here. Now, the game comes with a solitaire option, which I read about. I read the rules. It's quite elaborate, more elaborate than the solitaire options that I usually like. I think, I haven't tried it, just an hypothesis, you can probably just roll a d8. You take your turn as normal, then you roll a d8, maybe once or twice even, and you remove the corresponding cardboard tiles, and you play with the rest. And then you either try to beat your previous score, or you try to beat whatever score in the cardboard tiles the AI has collected. Because ultimately that simple random element simulates what other people will be doing to you, which is to remove opportunities from you. But again, the nice general puzzle of optimizing things, figuring out when to switch from collecting tiles to scoring points, how to line things up. They're very simple, super intuitive. You could play this one in terms of just rules with very young people, definitely with casual players also. But then the challenge of doing that effectively is very nice and very engaging. So I'm definitely happy that I have acquired Square One. I'm happy to have it in my collection because it's a game that I can teach to pretty much anybody at any given time, and I think we're gonna enjoy playing it again.